Hello friends, hello everybody, welcome back. Today we are going to be learning another Zentangle original pattern, and the name of the pattern is, Purk. I have already posted one tile which consists of the pattern Purk on my Facebook page. Today we are going to learn how to draw the pattern and make a tile using the same pattern and couple of more patterns, right? So I am going to draw a shape like this using my pencil, right? What I did is drew a shape like this, and then I'm using my pen to draw some slanting lines cutting across the shape like this, right? So from one end to the other end, a little slanting, cutting across the shape that I have drawn using a pencil. I have drawn these lines, double lines, right? And then I am going to start drawing these orbs, starting with the center down the shape, right? Like this. And then going to keep adding more orbs, kind of complete, but you can give the effect of going behind a little, right? And then again keep adding these orbs till the time I fill up or reach the end of the shape, right? So here I have already reached the end, right? Like this. So the point worth noting is I have started from the center and I am drawing all the orbs at the same time, right? Adding one to each of the rows and moving to the end of the row, right? Like this. And then I move to the other side, adding almost the entire orb, but just giving a little effect of drawing or going behind, right? As you can see here, this part I am drawing as if the orb is going behind the earlier one, right? Just keep adding these orbs simultaneously to all the rows, like this, and then finish this one like this, and then finish this one like this, and then finish this one, and we finish the last one, right? So this is the tangle pattern Purk. Yes. Now what we do is we fill up these small gaps that are left under these orbs, right? You ink these small little gaps that are left over and under, right? Like this. Yes. And then after we have filled all these gaps, what we do is we shade. Now shading is again up to you. How do you want to go about shading it? You can choose to shade each of the orbs like a droplet, right? Like we shade tipple, the different ways in which we shade tipple. You can go about shading each of the orbs in that way, or you can add some graphite below like this, right? And then smudge it like this, right? And once we have done that, we can add some thick graphite on one side of the Purk to give the effect of a shadow, light falling on this side and a little darker on the other side, right? So it is just up to you. You may do away with this step also. So I have added some thick graphite on one side and then going to smudge it, bring it towards the center, right, like this, to give the effect of a shadow. So the other side, which I have not added the graphite, you can pick up your white charcoal and lighten it, right, like this. So this is how we draw the pattern Purk, right. Now if you want to give it some variation, you want to play around with it, the first option is to play around with these orbs, add some diamonds, decorate the orbs, right. Or what you can do is you can play around with these dividers. I have drawn simple dividers. You can add a highlight, right, or you can add some orbs in the divider like this, right. For example, I'll show you one. I am adding some small orbs inside the divider like this, right. So this will also add a nice variation to your original tangle like this, right. You can see here. Or there are a lot of other variations possible. For example, you can play around with the shading. I told you, you can choose to shade each of these orbs like a tipple or like a droplet or like a dewdrop, right. So there are a number of ways you can create variations. I will be posting few tiles to show you or give you some idea about how you can create variations on my page after I complete this session, right. So let us start with our tile right away. So I am going to use a simple string and try and show you some variations of the pattern Purk, right. So the string that I am going to use is using this string to draw half of the Purk. I'm not drawing complete Purk, and try and show you some varieties that you can create, right. So I have drawn a simple string and I am going to be using this string to draw half Purks, right. This is half of the Purk shape. If you can see, this is the Purk, complete Purk. So I'll be drawing half of the Purk in this style, right, just to show you some interesting variations that you can create, right. So again, drawing these slanting lines, dividing this area into sections, right, from one end to the other like this. Right, so I have divided this into sections, and then instead of orbs, let us draw orbs with some spirals inside like this, right. So adding some spiral, you can say I am drawing here printemps, right, but I am not drawing it anti-clockwise, I am drawing it clockwise. No, but my hand is moving anti-clockwise. Yes. Yes, just that it is an oval shape. Yeah. So it is printemps, but with an oval shape. Right? So since this is only half of the Purk, I am not drawing one at a time, or you can go about drawing in that fashion like this, right. You can draw in the same fashion that I showed to you, and then on one side. So these are some variations that I am showing how you can play around. The Purk as original pattern consists of orbs, overlapping orbs, right. So once you know the pattern, there are so many ways to play around. I have shown you so many times, right? So the other side, again the same way. Take your time, don't be in a rush. The process is all that matters in Zentangle. The end result is always good. So treat to your own eyes. The patterns have been designed in such a way that you enjoy the process, right? Yes. So this is one type of purk, a variation that I have drawn, right? Again, let us try something new. Again, drawing these dividing lines. Right? In this one, let us draw orbs only, but I am going to add some shadow on one side of the orb, like this, right? Let's see how it looks. I am also trying it for the first time. So adding little weight on one side of the orb, right? Like this, right? So I am going to fill up this one in this manner. You can see here I have filled up this purk in the same fashion from top to bottom, that is drawn an orb and added some weight to one side of the orb, right? Now we are on the third side. In this side, let us play a little with the divider. So in place of 2 lines, I am drawing 3 lines here. And let us see how does our purk look. Right? So drawing 3 line divider. Like this. A little slant to the lines. Right? Like this. So added one more line to the divider to give it a little more importance, right? And then again you can draw the normal purk, add a small orb in between, like this, the way I showed you. There are many variations possible. This is one of them. Right? So this one I will fill up in this fashion. Going to draw orbs and one more orb inside it, like this. Right? I filled up this side also the way I showed you, and then we reach the fourth side. Here we can add some zen to the dividing lines again, add some orbs, right, and draw some big orbs. Again add some orbs inside the divider. So these are just some of the ways in which you can play. The variations that you can create are endless. So just let your imaginations go wild and just play around. Once you know how to draw the basic pattern, there are endless variations that you can create. As you deviate from the basic pattern, you create a tangleation, right? Wherein the basic strokes are the same, but you add or combine it with 1 or 2 more tangles, right? So I'm adding this orbs or tipple kind of shape inside the dividers here, right? These small little variations that can bring a lot of change to the look of the perk. So I filled up these dividers with orbs, and then going to draw plain orbs as are drawn in a perk. Right, fill up like this. A little drawing behind involved. I'm not completing the entire orb, drawing behind a little like this, right? And then the other side like this. Right, the small little gaps that are left on the top and bottom of the perk, it looks nice if you fill it up, right? So we'll see if we have time for that. And then we have this space left inside. Just going to add a rough aura, not a very straight line aura, giving little curves to the line and separating the space inside. Right, like this. And then it is up to you what you want to do in the center. I think I will just simply draw a vertigo. So I am going to draw the triangle pattern vertigo here and nothing else, right? So we have already learned how to draw this pattern. Drawing my first line of these shapes, right? In our earlier sessions we have already learned how to draw this pattern. So just drawing the first line of petals and then going to cross it, draw underneath or behind and cross it like this, right? Like this. Right, then do the same exercise on the other side. Just keep moving your tile so that your hand is comfortable. It is important that your hand is in a comfortable position while you are drawing, right? Because the aim is to relax and not to strain. Yeah. So that is possible only when your position, your posture is comfortable. Now I am going to add one more line like this, and if possible then cross it, otherwise leave it there. Right, adding one more line. If possible then cross it, otherwise leave it like that. Right, adding one more line here, one more line here, one more line here. If possible, cross it. If you find space, otherwise just leave it. the way it is, right? Some space here, we can cross it here. Yeah, right? Again another line here, here, another line here, and then we can cross it like this, right? Again cross it like this, again another line here, cross it, cross it like this, like this. So wherever there is space, one more line. So this is the pattern Vertigo, which I've already learned. So I have drawn it in the center of my tile, right? And for the rest of the spaces, up to you, just fill up with some orbs the way you wish to go about doing it. Entirely up to you. Using some tipples here at the corners. You can use any other tangle. Right, different shaped tipples, not one shape, not one size, varying shapes, varying sizes. Entirely up to you, how you want to draw, what you want to draw. There are so many patterns you know by now, right? So some tipple on this side also. Like this. I'm filling the small spaces with tipple only, or they are very small, then I'm filling it at the same time, right? So I'll stop here, and then we start shading our tile, right? Just one or two here. Yeah. So I've already shown you how do we shade. I'm going to add some graphite at the bottom. You can alternatively shade each of the orb. That would also be fun, right? Again, doing the same exercise. This one I think I'll shade on one side only and leave the rest. We'll see how it looks, right? Here I think I'll add on both sides like this, a thin line on both sides, right? Vertigo, you don't need to do much. Just add some graphite on one side of the main stem, that center stem that you've drawn, right? And some inside this inner aura that you have drawn. Just add some graphite inside like this. Right? And now we'll smudge it. So starting from this one, just going to add graphite on one side, bring it towards the other end but not cover the entire thing like this. In this one I have added on both sides, up and both the top and the bottom. So just ensure that you don't cover up the entire thing gray. You want to highlight in between, right? do something like this. Yeah, this one again I've added some at the bottom. Like this, right? This one also I have added some graphite at the bottom. You can also color the dividers if you wish. In this one I think you can color the dividers and by giving a highlight, something like this, right? I think it is adding to the look. So just quickly coloring the or inking my divider and leaving a highlight in between, right? Like this. Yes, so we have already shaded our pork. It's pretty simple, right? So now the center, just blend the graphite on one side, vertigo looks very beautiful on its own. Most of the patterns don't require much to look beautiful. But shading adds lot of depth, dimension, contrast to your tile. You can immediately see the changes as you shade your tile. So just enjoy the process, take your time. Right? So adding a little weight to the line on one side like this, right? And if you find some spaces in between the tipple and here, it is a good idea to fill it up like this, right? So black portions always add value to your tile, like this. Just fill it up. Right? Yeah, like this. Small portions left in between the orbs that you have drawn. Yep, I think it's done, right? So this is the tangle pattern pork. Now if you wish, you can pick up your white charcoal, add some highlight, like this, and on this one, the portion that we have not added gray, you can add a highlight like this, right? So let us now initial our tile. Sign and date it. Today is, yes. So take a moment to appreciate your tile, and we'll meet again with another new Zentangle original pattern. Goodbye, stay safe.